In today's video I'm going to be doing something a little bit different on my tiny narrowboat home. I'm going to show you how I build something with my green fingers. I'm also going to be redoing my front end of my boat where all my plants are. I'm going to clean it out and plant some new things. I know it's a bit late in the season, but I'm actually going to be planting some herbs ready for next year, and I'll talk you through what I do with them. So today I'm going to show you how I build my terrarium. Now I will admit it's not a tutorial, this is just how I'm doing it. I've not done an awful lot of research, so for anybody out there who says I'm doing things wrong, fine, let me know and I may redo it if I've got it completely wrong, but hopefully I haven't got it too bad. So what is a terrarium? Well, I have to read this bit because I couldn't tell you straight off the bat. A terrarium is a miniature enclosed ecosystem, typically a sealed glass container that contains plants and soil. It functions as a self-sustaining miniature world where plants thrive to create a cycle of water, gas and nutrients. There are two main types. Closed terrariums create a humid environment perfect for tropical plants, an open terrarium for dry loving plants such as succulents and cacti. Well, today I'm actually going to do somewhere in between, because the glass I've got, I absolutely love the shape of it, but it's not a sealed container, but I'm going to seal it as much as I can. So let me show you what I've got so far. First of all, this is the glass jar that I am going to be using. It's, as I said, it's not a sealed container. Obviously the lid, the top is open, but also so is the bottom. So what I'm going to do is to place a plastic tray in the bottom inside. I'm also going to line it with a little bit of cellophane to help protect the wood at the bottom. Now the little research I have done says I need to put some potting grit or stones at the bottom of the pot, and I went to the garden centre yesterday and found this, which actually says it is meant for terrariums, just there. So I'm hoping that's going to go well. It also says I should put in some carbon granules to absorb odour. I haven't got any of that today. These are the plants I'll be using. I'll line them up and I'll put on the screen what the names of the plants are. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce them because I will get it wrong. So I think the first thing I've got to do is I'll take that off. I'll just put that to one side. That is my wooden base. So all I want to do is to line that with some cling film, and I'm hoping that that will protect the wood to a certain extent. So I've actually folded it over in a double layer. I'm just going to let that spill over the side, and once I've got it all together I'll trim off the excess. I've also got this tray here which is going to go inside the bowl and then sit on top of that plastic, so hopefully it'll get minimal water come through. So I'll just put that inside so it sits nicely in there. There you go, that looks pretty good. So next step, to get my grit, I'm going to put some of that inside, layer about 2-3 centimeters or so. Okay, I've opened the bag now. Let me just take a few out just to show you a close-up. You can hopefully just see there's just tiny stones, 2 or 3 millimeters across, and I'm going to put them inside. Just pour it in a little bit. Just spread that around to see how deep that is. Yeah, I think I'll put some more in. Right, the idea of the grit is actually to help with drainage. So if you put a little bit too much water in, that will soak into the stones. Alright, this is the soil, or compost I should say, that's going to go into my terrarium. Note it's peat free, always get peat free. Right, so I'm going to put in a layer of probably 3 or 4 inches, ready to take the plants. and make sure that's broken up. As it comes out the bag, it comes out in lumps like that, so just run your hands through it just to break them up. As you can see, my fingers aren't quite green, but they're getting there. So if I just line up my plants and give you an idea of what they are. These are the plants I'm going to be using today. I'll put the name up on the screen as I scan past them so that you get an idea of what they're called. But as you will see from the names, they're not always that easy to pronounce. At least for me it isn't. I did want to get some moss as well, because that's always good for a terrarium, but apparently it's not available at the moment, so I might see if I can get some online and then put it in afterwards. I now got to decide where they go in the pot. So I want to try and get it in like an arc, so that the taller ones are towards the back and it gets a bit lower around the sides. That way I can add anything else at the front. So I've got nice tall one there. This will probably change as I put them in there. A couple of small ones at the front. So I think something like that should look pretty good. Right, now I've deliberately put in a little bit too much soil because that will settle as time goes on. I'm just going to put this nice tall one in first, see if I can get it out without damaging it. Mostly a little bit left in there. I neglected to make a hole for it. So. Right, that's a bit high. I think I'm going to take that out and make that hole a bit bigger at the bottom there. This is the tallest one I've got, so. I'll go for the next one. Let's come and look at that. It's got a nice root bundle there. I've already made the hole, so just try and get this in there carefully. I'm going to put this one the other side, around this side, because it's got the same colouring there. Again, nice root bundle. Not too bad. And the next one, I think I'm going to put this just in front of the tall one. Perfect. These are all a little bit on the dry side, which is a good thing. Makes it easy to get them out of the pot. Okay, 2 more to go. That's my nice little one with purple on the leaves. I'll put that one near the front here. Right, these white spots there, reading up on them, that's actually natural, and it's a good thing when that's on there, so it's not a sign of any problems. It indicates it's a healthy plant. And this one here, because it looks like moss, although it's not moss. Okay, right. Make my hole. As you can see, not such green fingers, more like brown fingers. Let me show you what it looks like. And here's the well, almost finished article. If I just briefly spin that around, you can see I've got the plants in there. This tall one though is I'm a bit concerned that that's touching the top, so I might relook at that at some point. And this one here is also touching the sides a bit, so I might slightly reposition some of those. But essentially that's it. Just need to add a little bit of water, and I'm actually going to put like a cellophane or cling film seal on top and just tape that down, just to see how it gets on with being enclosed. I may well leave it open as it is. We'll see how it goes. I'm just going to add some water, because you should always do that when you plant things, just to give them a boost. I'm not going to add too much, just whoops, try and get it inside the pot, just enough to get the moisture in the soil. Right, that's probably half a cup or so of water. And just one thing to add, I just need to trim this cellophane off the bottom here. There you go. If you look carefully, you can still see some of the cellophane there, but that's okay. That's a good thing, because that means it's then protecting the wood a little. As I said, I'm going to be cleaning this out. I'm going to get rid of all those plants in there, because they're literally coming to the end of their life, I think. Even though I've got a few flowers there, I might just take them out and put them in a pot somewhere for a few days. I'm going to save some of those plants, see how my carrots are doing, see if I need to keep them in there or repot them, see how big they are. And obviously I'll keep those two there. I'm going to clean up all the way around here, get rid of the cobwebs. Always cobwebs and spiders on a boat. But I did want to show you the scenery. I know it's through some plastic, but what a beautiful day it is today. And to see some people there walking along the canal, seeing as this part of the canal network is still closed and looks like it will be until next year. I'm just going to start by clearing this space, lifting everything up, all the plants, all the bags, the mat, and give the floor a sweep, maybe wash it if it needs it, and wash around the top as well. And then I'll show you where my diesel tank is going to go for my new fire that's coming in January. And then I'll show you how I'm going to set up my herb garden in the pot that I'm going to take out, and what plants I'm going to keep. Yeah, I think that's use this a little bit. We should get what that is. What that is. I'll keep that just find out. I suspect that these have too much water. What to do with these? Right, I think I'm just going to break these off or pull them out, soil a bit. This one's absolutely no good for growing anymore. I think the ones with the nice flowers on, I think I'll just break them off and keep those just for now. The rest of these plants I think are no good. although considering I grew them from seed, they've done pretty well. Let's get as much of the dead stuff out as possible. So I would normally throw away all of this soil, but I haven't got a huge amount to fill it up, so I'm just going to get the worst of this stuff out. If anything extra grows, that's a bonus. Can certainly use it to grow other things in. This is actually going to be my herb garden. Get rid of my makeshift tray. So I've actually bought a tray now, so there you go, that's ready to go. Right, sweep it out. Right, now I've got to find something to pick that up with. Then I'm going to give the floor a wash, let that dry. Right, so you can see I've started this side because the boat has got a slight tilt on it, so that as I put water on the floor on the deck, it runs down into a corner which has got a drain hole into the canal. As you can see, that's still wet. I've literally just rinsed it over with water, not get any dust or grime, and it'll drain out through that hole just down there. But I did want to show you while I'm here, just this gap underneath. See that little tank? That's the old diesel tank for the heater that's currently in the boat. I'm getting a new one, as I keep telling you. It's a diesel reflex stove, and the tank is actually going to go from that corner. They're going to make a special tank to fit in this space. It's going to be all the way across to that corner there, and it will come as far as the edge. So it's going to be about 6-7 inches deep, and that whole width. And they estimate that's going to be about an 80-litre tank that they should be able to get in there. They're going to come and do a survey in October, so they can get it ready made for January. Now I'm just going to wait for this floor to dry a little bit, drain away, before I go back out there and start setting up my garden, my new garden. Just going to show you the herbs I'm going to be planting in my herb garden. I'm going to be starting with chervil. Now, chervil is similar to, or can be used in place of parsley. It's the same family. And the other herbs I'm going to be using, if I start up here, I could show you the packets. Some chives, which I'm hoping to get ready for Christmas, because I've got a special Christmas Day breakfast that I want to cook for you. And some sage, oregano, thyme. They can all be used in like Italian dishes. Some mint. Hopefully I'll use that with some lamb that I'm probably going to be cooking around Christmas time, along with some tea. That goes well with. And there's the chervil seeds. I'm just making my way to the bow again. It looks like it's pretty well dry. Let me just turn it around, turn the camera around. There you go, it's not too bad there, is it? And there's my miniature carrots. Alright, so start by coming up my creaky steps. Got myself a couple of trays, and that's what the plant pots will stand in. But first of all, I think I'm going to show you what my carrots have done over the last few weeks. Right, here we have my carrots that have been growing for probably a couple of months now, and I call them miniature carrots. I've had a little peak down the side, I must admit. So I'm going to try and take them out and harvest them and show you how green my fingers are. So I think I'm actually going to empty this completely. I've just made another mess, of course. There you go. That's a carrot, I think. Oh, it's a big one there. Look at that one. It's huge. Well, compared to the others it is. Well, I hope I do better with my herbs. More green than there is carrot. Another big one, relatively speaking. Right, this is where I start getting my hands even dirtier than they already are. I'm going to start showing you how I plant my garden. I'm going to divide it into 6 sections so that I know which herb is which, and I'm actually going to label them so that I don't get confused later on when they grow and say, what's this? Right, let me show you. As I said, I've got 6 herbs to put in. I'll just move them to one side for now. And this is the tray that I had before with my wildflowers in. May well get some come up again. I'll just going over this just to loosen up a little bit. Oh, there's a bit of a root in there. I think I'll take that out. Just breaking up the soil now. Just so it's easier for when the herbs try to grow. This is quite dry, which makes it a bit easier. The chervil, that's this one here, is the one that grows the biggest, so it becomes quite a large plant. So just open it a little bit, because I'm going to not be using them all today. So I'm just going to sprinkle a few onto my hand. Not all of these will germinate, but you can see they're almost like a little stick thing, little seed. So I'm probably going to put at least half of that in, and we'll see how many actually develop into full plants. Okay, so that's chervil goes first. Just seal that up. Need to get it as tight as possible to stop any moisture getting back in there. This one is mint. Oh, these seeds are absolutely tiny. It's almost like flour. Let's see if I can show you that on the camera there. Tiny, tiny things. So be very gentle with them. And at this stage, I'm no expert gardener, but I'm hoping that these will germinate. Right, next one is thyme. Well, these seeds are quite small as well, but not quite as small as the mint. Oh, as you can see, again, tiny, tiny seeds. So it needs to go roughly there. Any of you gardeners out there, if I'm doing something wrong, I don't mind if you tell me. So I'd rather do it right next time. And there's my chives. And these are the ones I want to have ready for Christmas. And let's hope that happens. Otherwise I'll have to buy some. Again, they're small seeds, but not as tiny as the others. I'll just show you again. Right, so they go just about there. This one's oregano Greek. Not sure what the difference is between backing up at this normal oregano, but I guess we'll find out. These are even smaller than the first ones. Tiny, tiny things. Don't know if you can even see them. Well, I think they've gone in there. And finally, we have sage. These are a little bit bigger. See, part of the reason for saving some of these, I can show you that little ball bearings. as I was saying, part of the reason for saving some of the seeds is so that I can, if these don't succeed, I can start again in the summer next year, or autumn, spring I should say, next year. Okay, so that's the herbs now in there. So what I need to do now is to put a top layer of more compost on top. I'm just going to put about a ½ inch or so, just lightly on top, and then gently press it down, and then again just gently water it. So put some of my new compost in there. Let's see if I've got enough there. Just going to break up these larger balls, larger clumps. Very gently. I'm not pushing hard, just compacting it a little bit. So there you go. Green fingers. I just got to decide where things go. That's my tray for the other plants. This is my herb garden, and I've made a boo-boo. I forgot to label it up, so which end is which. So I know what order I put them in, but I'm not 100% sure which way I picked it up from. I think it's that way, but we will have to wait and see. So, I think for now that's going to go just under there, because it's in the shade a little bit while the seedlings grow. My plants here, they're going to go in my other tray. Now this tray I'm actually going to put the other side over there, but just for now to show you, it's my yucca plant, so that's going to go one end. I'll put this in so you can see what I'm doing. I've got 4 more pots to get in there. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that, so if I move that there, I can actually get another one in that side, so that'll work well. But what I'm going to do first is to get any of these dead leaves and dead wood out. It does look like a strawberry plant to me, so I'm going to plant that in the middle all on its own, and let's see if that comes up for next year. It's obviously late in the season, but once things start getting really cold out here, I'll take these indoors. Let's bring my plants indoors. I'll start with this strawberry one. Red. But in the meantime, I'm going to get all this dead stuff off. As I'm sure everyone out there can see, I'm not a gardener, not a professional gardener. I'm just dabbling, just learning. I will be adding something to this little area, my little garden area. I've always been fascinated by hydroponics. That's where you grow things without soil. I've actually got a hydroponic set up at home. There you go, so that's nice and tidy now. I've got another one here. In the meantime, I'm just going to get all the dead stuff off, because I know that's what you need to do. So any leaves that are showing any sign of yellowing, I'm taking out, because they're obviously going to turn very quickly. Jalapeno pepper plant here, full of cobwebs. Now you can just see some like little droplets there. That's actually the peppers starting to grow. It's got the flower that gets pollinated and then turns into those little bulbs, which then grow into a pepper like that. The ones that I've picked already off of this plant have grown to about a couple of inches long, so it's worked out really well. So this is my garden finished for today. It's all I'm going to do, apart from water it a little bit. Some of them don't need watering. So you can see that's my herb garden just there, so hopefully that will start showing some shoots in a few weeks. Little strawberry plant. It's my avocado plant right in the middle there. I'm going to leave that outside for now, and like I say, when it starts getting colder I'll bring the plants in. My jalapeno just there, 2 strawberries, Hopefully they'll be okay. And my yucca plant. As I suggested, I'm going to be setting up a hydroponic plant as well. I'll show you that in another video, and that I will probably grow some more different herbs than I've already got out here. And today, when I was thinking about what I was going to cook for you, I thought, well, I haven't actually done a dessert for a little while, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. And it's going to be banana bread. So the first job to do is to turn the oven on to gas mark 4. I just forgot to mention that the temperature Fahrenheit is around about 350 Fahrenheit. That's 180 centigrade and 4 gas mark. So obviously for banana bread you need bananas. Going to need 3 bananas. There's a couple of eggs, a lemon, because I'm going to have lemon drizzle on top of the banana cake, and that's icing sugar, baking powder, some yeast, some butter. That's 140 grams of butter, 140 grams of, I'm actually using granulated sugar, but if you've got caster sugar, use that. And this is plain flour, but again, if you use self-raising flour, which a lot of recipes do, then you can leave the yeast out. And I've got a loaf tin here, which I'm actually going to line with foil. It's better if you can line it with baking paper, but I haven't got any of that with me today, so I'm going to be using foil. Right, to line it, just need enough foil to cover the whole thing. The idea of doing it is so you can lift out the loaf rather than having to cut around and leaving some of it behind. So I'll just tear some of this out. Okay, it doesn't have to be too pretty, but it's just enough so that you can lift it out. One thing I didn't mention there is I'm going to rub a little bit of butter on there, and that'll help. That should do it. My next job is to take 2 bananas, and they need to be ripe bananas. That's one thing I didn't mention before. So as ripe as you can get. These were the ripest I could find in the supermarket. Just get yourself a fork, and then all we're going to do is mash it. So 2 bananas mashed. See that? Because they're so ripe, it's quite easy to mash. You don't want them completely mush, because you do want just a little bit of banana there that's solid. Now we take the sugar, place that in a bowl, and this butter, by the way, is softened butter, 140 grams of softened butter. Our next job is to get the sugar and the butter, as I said, it's in the bowl, and we've got to beat that together until it's light and fluffy. Start it all slowly. And now we need to start incorporating some of the egg. So I'm going to pour about 1/3 of that in, and also going to put a tablespoon of the flour in. Then we mix again. Same again. And mix this some more. The last of the egg. And put another tablespoon of the flour. I did forget to say mix in the yeast at this stage if you're not using self-raising flour. That's 1 packet, usually around about 7 grams that is. I'll mix that in now. Alright, carrying on, we need to now combine the rest of the ingredients that are going into the loaf. So I've got my mashed banana, the rest of the flour, my baking powder here. I need a teaspoon of that, A teaspoon. I'm just going to sprinkle that on top. And just on top of that, I scrape my banana in. And the flour. I'm just going to sprinkle it so it's evenly distributed. Now what we've got to do is to fold it in. So I'm going to go around like that, turn it over, turn it over, and so on. So you don't want to mix it too heavily here, just want to combine it. And you'll see it'll come into a very loose dough. And keep doing this until you can't see very much white powder left from the flour. I'm going to empty this mixture into the tray. Try not to drop it all. So if you can see, I'm actually using like a silicone spatula. That just helps to scrape the bowl quite nicely. If you get bits of flour there, don't worry about that. That will soon come out in the bake. Just going to roughly spread it across. Just one job left. Get ourselves another banana. As you can see, it's slightly bruised, but that's not a big issue. And then I'm going to cut along it lengthways like this. Okay. Then all we're going to do is plop that on top. Do it the same way, I think. Just push it down slightly. You can use dry banana and just put that on top. This is more for decoration. And you can see that they're actually bananas, so it's going to look good once it's cooked. Right, time to put it in the oven. That should be up to temperature by now. I'm just going to put this on the bottom of the oven, bottom tray of the oven. So that way we can keep an eye on it and we can see it. Right, it's got to stay in there for up to 50 minutes or so, but we're going to start checking to see how well it's cooked after about 30 minutes. I've just come up to 40 minutes and it still looks a bit uncooked on top, so I'm actually going to give it the full 50 minutes. It's now been 50 minutes altogether, so I'm just going to take it out and do the poke test. And yeah, it does look really nice. I can either use a skewer or a sharp knife. Just take it right into the middle. And look for that to come out clean, which it does. So that is now done. And what we need to do is leave that there for 10 minutes or so for it to just cool down and settle. Then we're going to take it out and put it on a wire rack. Just taking the banana bread out, and now I'm going to make the lemon drizzle to go on top of the cake while it's still warm. I'm going to use half the juice from a lemon into the icing sugar. Right, while this is still warm, I'm going to be drizzling this lemon and icing sugar mix onto the cake. Just a little bit at a time, just a nice little dribble. Just so it's as even as possible across the bread. There you go. Hold on, just need to let that cool a bit more and then we'll take it out. Well, that's the banana bread out of the dish, ready to eat. Well, I say ready to eat, slightly warm still, but I can't wait any longer. Just cut a little bit off. You can just see the bananas there that were laid on top. And there you go, beautiful. Nice and crumbly texture. There you go. I have to say, putting that lemon drizzle on top just really elevates it all. Delicious.